Every year, thousands of tourists ignore warning signs and risk arrest to visit places they're explicitly forbidden from entering. Some chase the perfect photo, others seek thrills, and many simply refuse to believe the rules apply to them. The consequences range from hefty fines to imprisonment, yet these banned locations continue to draw rule breakers. These are 10 places tourists are banned from but still try to enter. Location. Number 1. North Sentinel Island, India. North Sentinel Island sits in the Bay of Bengal, home to one of the last uncontacted tribes on Earth. The Indian government has established a 3-mile exclusion zone around the island, making any attempt to visit illegal. Despite this, tourists and missionaries have tried to reach the shore with fatal consequences. In 2018, an American missionary was killed by the Sentinelese after illegally paying fishermen to take him to the island. The Sentinelese have violently rejected outside contact for centuries, attacking anyone who comes near their shores. They've remained isolated for an estimated 60,000 years and have no immunity to common diseases that could wipe out their entire population. Indian authorities enforced the ban not just to protect visitors, but to prevent the accidental genocide of the tribe through disease transmission. Violators face up to 3 years in prison under Indian law, yet the island continues to attract adventurers and social media seekers. Fishermen report frequent illegal attempts, with some tourists offering thousands of dollars for passage. The Indian Coast Guard regularly patrols the area, turning back boats and arresting those who venture too close. Even photographing the island from a distance requires special permission that's rarely granted. Location number 2. Poveglia Island, Italy. Poveglia Island lies in the Venetian lagoon between Venice and Lido, abandoned and rotting for over 50 years. The Italian government has banned all public access to the island due to structural instability and its dark history as a plague quarantine station and mental asylum. Over 160,000 plague victims were reportedly burned and buried on the island during multiple outbreaks. Despite the ban, urban explorers and paranormal enthusiasts regularly break in, crossing the lagoon by boat under cover of darkness. The crumbling buildings pose serious safety risks, with floors collapsing and exposed asbestos throughout the structures. The former psychiatric hospital, which operated until 1968, is particularly dangerous with its deteriorating bell tower that locals claim still rings despite having no bell. Italian police patrol the waters around Poveglia, but the island's isolation makes enforcement difficult. Trespassers who are caught face fines up to 3,000 euros and potential criminal charges for breaking and entering government property. The island's reputation as one of the most haunted places in the world drives continued illegal visits. Ghost hunting television shows have filmed there without permission, sparking increased interest from thrill seekers worldwide. In 2014, the Italian government attempted to lease the island for private development, but the plan fell through after public outcry. The island remains sealed off, slowly decaying while tourists continue to risk arrest for a glimpse of its abandoned asylum and mass burial grounds. Location number 3. Lascaux Caves, France. The Lascaux Caves in southwestern France contain some of the finest examples of Paleolithic art in the world, with paintings dating back 17,000 years. French authorities closed the caves to the public in 1963 after discovering that human breath and body heat were causing irreversible damage to the ancient artwork. Carbon dioxide, humidity, and microorganisms introduced by visitors created a green algae growth that threatened to destroy the paintings forever. Only a handful of researchers are granted access each year under strictly controlled conditions. Before the closure, over 1,200 visitors toured the caves daily, their presence raising temperatures and humidity levels that promoted fungal growth on the walls. Scientists now monitor the caves remotely using sensors and cameras to track environmental conditions without physical entry. The French Ministry of Culture maintains 24-hour security at the site, yet determined tourists still attempt to break in through sealed entrances. Those caught face criminal charges for for damaging national heritage sites, with penalties including prison sentences up to 7 years. A replica cave called Lascaux 2 opened nearby in 1983 to satisfy tourist demand, followed by Lascaux 4 in 2016, with even more advanced reproductions. Despite these alternatives, some visitors insist on seeing the original caves and attempt illegal entry several times per year. Underground motion sensors and cameras alert authorities to intrusions, typically resulting in immediate arrest. The original caves remain one of France's most protected archaeological sites, with no plans to ever reopen them to general tourism. Location number 4. Snake Island, Brazil. Snake Island lies 90 miles off the coast of São Paulo, Brazil, and holds the highest concentration of venomous snakes anywhere on Earth. The Brazilian Navy has banned all civilian access to the island, which is home to an estimated 4,000 golden lancehead vipers. These snakes evolved in isolation and developed venom up to 5 times more potent than their mainland relatives. Their bite causes kidney failure, muscle tissue death, and brain hemorrhaging, with mortality rates near 90% without immediate treatment. The golden lancehead exists nowhere else on Earth and is critically endangered, making the island ecologically significant despite its dangers. Scientists estimate one snake lives on every square meter of the island's terrain, making it virtually impossible to walk without encountering multiple vipers. The Brazilian government grants research permits to a small number of herpetologists each year, always accompanied by Navy personnel and medical staff. Illegal visitors have died on the island, though exact numbers remain classified by Brazilian authorities to discourage further attempts. Wildlife smugglers and snake collectors offer tens of thousands of dollars on the black market for golden lanceheads, driving illegal landing attempts. The Brazilian Navy patrols the waters constantly, maintaining a lighthouse on the island that was automated in the 1920s after the lighthouse keeper and his family were killed by snakes. Social media posts from thrill seekers claiming to have visited the island have prompted investigations and arrests. The only humans legally allowed on Snake Island are authorized researchers who must carry antivenom and wear protective gear during their brief, supervised visits. Location number 5. Surtsey Island, Iceland. Surtsey emerged from the Atlantic Ocean in 1963 during a volcanic eruption that lasted nearly 4 years, creating Iceland's newest island. The Icelandic government immediately declared it a nature reserve, banning all unauthorized visitors to preserve it as a natural laboratory for studying ecosystem development. Scientists monitor how life colonizes barren volcanic rock without human interference, making Surtsey one of the world's most pristine natural experiments. Only a handful of researchers receive permits annually, and they must sterilize their boots and equipment before landing. The island represents a unique opportunity to observe primary succession from the very beginning. With every plant seed and bird species arrival documented since 1963, human contamination could introduce non-native species that would compromise decades of scientific data. In 2004, researchers discovered a tomato plant growing on Surtsey, traced back to a scientist who defecated on the island, proving how easily human presence disrupts the natural process. The plant was immediately removed, and protocols became even stricter. Tour boats circle Surtsey regularly, bringing tourists close enough to photograph, but never close enough to land. Despite warnings, some tourists have paid boat captains to drop them on the shore, resulting in criminal prosecutions and banned lifetime bans from Iceland's nature reserves. The island continues to erode and shrink, having lost nearly a third of its original size since 1963. Scientists predict Surtsey will eventually disappear beneath the waves, but until then, it remains one of the world's most protected and scientifically valuable locations, with violators facing fines up to $10,000. Location number 6, Area 51, Nevada, USA. Area 51 is a highly classified U.S. Air Force facility located in the Nevada desert, officially known as Groom Lake or Homey Airport. The US government didn't acknowledge its existence until 2013, though it had operated since 1955 as a testing site for experimental aircraft and weapon systems. The base is surrounded by restricted airspace, and unauthorized entry is a federal offense punishable by fines and imprisonment. Warning signs around the perimeter state that use of deadly force is authorized against intruders. Armed security guards, motion sensors, and surveillance cameras monitor every approach to the facility. Despite these measures, tourists and UFO enthusiasts regularly attempt to breach the perimeter, with some getting arrested weekly during peak seasons. The base's association with UFO conspiracy theories drives much of the illegal activity, with visitors hoping to uncover evidence of alien technology. In 2019, a viral Facebook event called Storm Area 51 prompted over 2 million people to pledge to see them aliens, forcing local law enforcement to prepare for potential mass trespassing. The nearby town of Rachel, Nevada, has become a tourist destination for Area 51 seekers, with visitors photographing warning signs and testing how close they can get before security responds. Trespassers are typically detained by private security contractors known as camo dudes, who patrol in white trucks. Those caught face federal charges, fines starting at $1,000 and up to a year in prison for first-time offenses. The Air Force maintains that Area 51 is simply a testing facility for classified aircraft, but the mystique continues to draw rule breakers from around the world. Location number 7. Heard Island, Australia. Heard Island sits 4,000 kilometers southwest of Perth in the southern Indian Ocean, making it one of the most remote places on Earth. The Australian government has declared it a nature reserve with strict access restrictions, allowing only authorized scientific research teams to visit. The island features an active volcano called Mawson Peak that last erupted in 2016, along with glaciers covering 80% of its surface. Harsh weather conditions make landing extremely difficult, with successful approaches possible only a few days each year. The island serves as a crucial breeding ground for millions of penguins, seals, and seabirds that have never been exposed to land predators or human diseases. Scientists study the pristine ecosystem to understand climate change impacts without the complication of human interference. Any unauthorized visit could introduce invasive species, rats, diseases, or seeds on clothing and equipment that would devastate the delicate ecosystem. The nearest human settlement is over 4,000 kilometers away, and rescue operations are nearly impossible due to the extreme isolation and violent seas. Despite the challenges, illegal expedition attempts occur every few years, typically organized by wealthy adventure tourists seeking to claim they visited one of the world's most inaccessible locations. The Australian government monitors the island via satellite and investigates any unauthorized vessels in the area. Violators face massive fines under the Environment Protection and Biodiversity Conservation Act, with penalties reaching $500,000 for unauthorized landings. The few research teams permitted to visit must apply years in advance, undergo extensive environmental training, and limit their stay to essential scientific work only. Location number 8. Chernobyl Exclusion Zone, Inner Core, Ukraine. The Chernobyl Exclusion Zone extends 30 kilometers around the 1986 nuclear disaster site, with an inner 10-kilometer zone remaining strictly off-limits to all except authorized personnel. While controlled tours operate in the outer zone, the inner core, containing the most contaminated areas, is permanently banned to tourists. Radiation levels in certain locations still exceed 50,000 times the normal background radiation, causing acute radiation sickness within minutes of exposure. The Red Forest, where trees turned red and died after absorbing massive radiation doses, remains deadly nearly 40 years later. Ukrainian authorities have established checkpoints and patrol the inner zone to prevent illegal entry, but stalkers, urban explorers who sneak into forbidden areas, regularly bypass security. These trespassers risk radiation poisoning for the thrill of exploring abandoned buildings and taking photos of areas tourists never see. Some have been hospitalized with radiation sickness after spending just hours in highly contaminated sections. The zone's security has weakened since the 2022 Russian invasion, making illegal access easier but exponentially more dangerous due to disturbed soil releasing radioactive particles. The new safe confinement structure covering the destroyed reactor allows only credentialed nuclear specialists inside, yet tourists have attempted to bribe guards for access. Radiation hotspots move and change as materials decay and weather erodes structures, making maps unreliable for safety planning. Some stalkers wear dosimeters to monitor exposure, but these provide no protection against inhaling radioactive dust particles that cause internal contamination. Those caught face criminal charges and potential lifetime health monitoring, though many continue to post their illegal explorations online, inspiring copycat attempts. Location number 9. Tomb of Qin Shi Huang, China. The tomb of China's first emperor, Qin Shi Huang, sits beneath a massive earthen pyramid near Xi'an, guarded by the famous terracotta army. Chinese authorities have never opened the main burial chamber and have banned all excavation attempts to preserve the tomb's contents. Ancient texts describe the tomb's interior as containing rivers of mercury, crossbow traps, and priceless artifacts buried with the emperor in 210 BCE. Modern testing has confirmed dangerous mercury vapor concentrations in the soil above the tomb, making excavation hazardous even with current technology. The Chinese government fears that opening the tomb could damage or destroy artifacts that have survived 2,200 years in sealed conditions. Exposure to air and humidity could cause rapid deterioration, similar to problems encountered when opening other ancient tombs. The site remains under constant surveillance, with security preventing any unauthorized digging or ground-penetrating radar surveys. Several archaeologists and treasure hunters have proposed excavation plans over the decades, all rejected by authorities who insist the tomb will remain sealed until preservation technology improves. The surrounding area, including the terracotta warriors, is open to tourists, but the actual tomb mound is strictly off limits and surrounded by barriers. Some visitors have attempted to climb the pyramid or dig at its base, resulting in arrests and lifetime bans from the archaeological site. Chinese law protects the tomb as a crucial cultural heritage site, with violators facing up to 10 years in prison for attempted excavation. The emperor's burial chamber holds secrets that may never be revealed, with Chinese officials stating that opening it remains forbidden for the foreseeable future. Location number 10. Chapel of the Ark of the Covenant, Ethiopia. The Chapel of the Ark of the Covenant in Axum, Ethiopia, allegedly houses the biblical ark containing the Ten Commandments. According to Ethiopian Orthodox tradition, the ark has been guarded in this chapel for over 2,000 years by a single monk who is chosen for life. Only this guardian monk is permitted to see the ark, with all others, including the Ethiopian patriarch and government officials, forbidden from entering. The monk never leaves the chapel grounds and is replaced only upon his death by a successor he personally selects. The Ethiopian Orthodox Church maintains absolute secrecy about what's actually inside the chapel, refusing all requests for verification or scientific study. No photographs exist of the alleged ark, and the guardian monk is forbidden from describing it to outsiders. This secrecy has made the chapel one of the world's most intriguing religious mysteries, attracting believers and skeptics who attempt to breach the compound. Armed guards and high walls surround the chapel, with local authorities treating any trespassing attempt as a serious religious offense. Tourists can visit the old chapel nearby where the ark was supposedly kept before 1965, but the current chapel remains completely sealed to the public. Several Western archaeologists and documentary filmmakers have offered substantial sums for just a glimpse inside, all refused without exception. Those caught attempting to enter the compound face arrest by Ethiopian police and potential mob violence from outraged locals who consider the chapel sacred. Whether the Ark of the Covenant truly resides in Axum remains unknown, with the Ethiopian Orthodox Church insisting the mystery is not theirs to solve or share with the outside world. Some tourists ignore these bans because they believe rules don't apply to them, while others genuinely don't understand the consequences. Whether it's sacred sites, dangerous wildlife, or government secrets, forbidden places attract exactly the people who shouldn't be there. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more beyond belief facts, click on the video appearing on your screen now and remember to hit the subscribe button.